Why do we flip the inequality sign when we multiply and divide by a negative number? Well, let's go ahead and do a little explore. Currently, I have negative 4 is less than 2, and negative 4 is represented by a blue dot, and positive 2 is represented by a pink dot. So, what would happen if I added 3 to both sides of my inequality? Well, if I add 3 to both sides of my inequality, my dots will move to the right 3 units. So they're currently at negative 1 and 5. So my blue dot is still less than my pink dot. Now let's go ahead and recenter them. Negative 4 and 2. So negative 4 is less than 2. Well, what happens if I subtract 3 to both sides of my inequality? Well, my dots are going to move to the left 3 units. So now they're at negative 7 and negative 1. And my blue dot is still less than my pink dot. So blue is still less than pink. Let's recenter them at negative 4 is less than 2. And now let's go ahead and multiply both sides by positive 2. Well, when I multiply both sides by positive 2, my numbers each grow in the opposite direction. So my negative gets more negative and my positive gets more positive. But my blue is still less than my pink because it's still farther away from the pink. Now let's look what happens when I multiply each side by a negative 2. Well, when I multiply numbers times negative, it changes the solution to its opposite. So my dots go to the opposite side of the number line. Wow, so now my pink is smaller than blue. So blue is now greater than pink. So look what happened to my inequality symbol. It flipped. So when I'm solving inequalities and you multiply or divide, because that's the inverse operation of multiplication, you have to switch your inequality symbol to the opposite inequality symbol. Some people like to call it flipping the sign. I like to think about it as changing it to the opposite sign.